Hi everyone, I am your host, owner, and creator of The Mix. Welcome to my channel. Welcome. As you can see what this video is going to be about. Yes, the conversation continues. Ebony K. Williams and IYANLA V. Yes, IYANLA V was on the Griot, and this again is a black, I believe, owned media channel, and Ebony is on the Griot, and she actually was interviewing IYANLA. But before I continue, I need for you all to like, share, subscribe to The Mix, especially those who are just digitally passing by. Go ahead and smash that subscription button and hit that notification bell. Also, I need everyone to hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let's engage in the comment section. I need to know your thoughts. And also, I would like for you all to listen to this video from beginning to end. Yes, listen to the entire video. So the conversation continues. What I played before on my channel, and if you go over to my video section, you'll see this type of image, as you can see now with IYANLA and Ebony. I was basically stating in that video, I was playing some snippets of the question when IYANLA asked Ebony, would she date a bus driver? So head on over to the video section. Matter of fact, I'm going to post it in this link because it's kind of like a continuation, because it's a grand topic. It wasn't just the bus driver scenario or question. The ladies discussed other things too, relationship wise, and also feminine energy and masculine energy. And if you head on over to my video section, because Ebony actually, she piggybacked off of what IYANLA stated on the Breakfast Club. It was an interview IYANLA did about a month ago about women operating in our masculine energy instead of feminine energy. And I say that IYANLA reminds me, I'm not going to say she reminds me of Kevin Samuels, because her and Kevin Samuels, I believe, and late great Kevin Samuels, Google him. It's unfortunate he passed away, timely demise situation, but go Google him. He, to me, was shaking the atmosphere, and I'm a woman, and I loved Kevin Samuels, his feedback, his perspective. Did I agree with every single thing? Absolutely not. But IYANLA V is speaking from her experience, her life experience, and she just has so much wisdom. So Ebony and IYANLA did this interview, and again, you can go ahead and check out, I'm going to post both links in my video section. The video I did on masculine women, and that's when I spoke about the lady who pow her husband on Facebook Live. I'm going to post a link in my description section on this post. So again, let me go ahead and dive into more of what was said. I'm going to share my screen as well. And also I'm going to jump in here and there and kind of give my feedback. Also, in my opinion, because I did listen to the entire video, and in my opinion, sounds like Ebony was receptive towards IYANLA. She welcomed it. She welcomed the feedback. She welcomed the critique or suggestions as to how, as women, how we should operate more in a feminine way, or what we're doing or not doing. And that's contrary to what I said. I was like, oh, Ebony wasn't ready for this. In a sense, she wasn't, but she took it like a G. You know, like, okay, wow, IYANLA, oh, okay, chin up. Okay, I'm gonna take it from my elder. And you'll be able to find both links in my description section of this post. So the last video I did on Ebony and IYANLA, and then the video I did on the lady who I felt was operating in her masculine energy, and also I felt that she was acting in her emotional type of reckless energy as well. On Facebook Live, when she did what she did to her husband in front of her, pretty much, because I believe the kids were in the house. So I'll post both links under in my description section on this post. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And again, I'm going to hop in here and there. Again, like, share, subscribe to the mix, like, share, subscribe to my channel, drop a comment. And if you're interested in donating to my channel for content enhancement creations, go ahead and zelle your girl at cplegal30@gmail.com. Yes. Or you can cash app me. I have a cash app, $THEMIXX30. Yes. All donations will go towards content creation for my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you all in advance. I'm trying to level it up. It takes resources to level up in this new digital creator type of world. So yeah, go ahead, and if you feel the need to donate or feel it on your heart, go ahead and do so. And thank you. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we go.
IYANLA van Zandt, we are so blessed to have you here with us today on the Griot. I want to start, dear, with something that we share, which is that we are both attorneys by trade. You are a lawyer, you have a legal background, and as women in the law, IYANLA, do you believe that lens, that legal lens, informs our perspective and the way we show up in the world as women?
Okay, let me pause it right there. Wow. When I heard this, I was like, wow, I didn't know IYANLA was an attorney. She has a law license. Oh my goodness. She's probably, of course, not practicing, but yeah, okay. You know, as legal heads, I love that. That's my background. That's my passion. So this was refreshing to hear. I'm like, I didn't know that. That's a fun fact about IYANLA. And Ebony, of course, is an attorney as well, as she stated. Both women are amazing, beautifully amazing. Although, again, as I said before in my previous video, I do not agree with a lot of stuff that Ebony speaks about in terms of, it's just like a feminist agenda. It's just not something I subscribe to. So it's just so many different other areas or topics that Ebony may discuss or back that I'm just not supportive of, and I totally disagree. But she's a beautiful woman, very intelligent. However, her perspective on a lot of things I'm just not feeling. So let me go ahead and continue.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I got out. Yeah, very masculine, very intellectual, almost stripped and robbed of humanity. It really shows the dichotomy between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And for me, it just didn't feed my soul. And so I had to get out.
I feel that, and I do feel that I might have heard on a date or two, IYANLA, that we are not in a courtroom, Ebony. You can put the gavel down, and I do feel it can spill over into the way I show up in my womanhood, which is really the center of this conversation today, IYANLA. We want to discuss masculine energy, feminine energy. I do want to start with
Let me pause it right there. Masculine energy, feminine energy. Again, this is giving Kevin Samuels, because Kevin Samuels, the late great Kevin Samuels, spoke about this a lot. Spoke about women being able to be more held more accountable. Women operating in their feminine and not docile, but knowing how to prepare meals from scratch, maybe cooking 3 to 4 days a week, like resting in your feminine nature instead of competing or going toe to toe with men. And stated before, as women, I believe, in my opinion, we need to unlearn a lot of things, especially women in my age group. I'm going to say probably 40 plus. And I say that respectfully and out of love. We need to have a different perspective, or be open to a different perspective when it comes to our independence and our relationships. I do. And also we need to adjust. And I stated that in my previous video about adjusting, because you can have this and that and everything going for yourself, but are you going to die alone? Kevin Samuels spoke about that a lot. And again, I'm a female and I appreciated Kevin Samuels. I learned a lot from him. And I say this respectfully, more than I learned in my own upbringing. So it's a lot of things that women, females, generally speaking, need to unlearn, or probably would need to adjust and and open our minds and hearts up to a new way of thinking and teaching in certain areas involving our feminine nature. I really truly do believe that. And that doesn't mean that we become a doormat. It's just a way of operating. And listening to Kevin Samuels and listening to IYANLA, and IYANLA has been speaking this way, I think, for some years anyway. And let me just go ahead and continue.
They have a news framing, which is that women's rights across the country, especially black women's rights, they're under attack. Lots of laws are banning abortions. They are regulating what we can and cannot do with our bodies. What do you think happens for black women when this type of siege is at play and we don't feel we have anyone to protect us?
Right. Well, the first thing I think we do is we go into anger. We go into anger without a clear ask. Doesn't make sense to be angry unless you got to ask. What is it that you're asking for? People can say anything in the world, but that doesn't mean that they get a right to do it. It doesn't mean that they get a right to affect you. But because so many of us are programmed and conditioned and educated to think like men, we respond like men. And when I mean men, I don't mean two-legged beasts. I mean in the masculine energy. And it becomes competitive. It becomes aggressive. It becomes againstness. And that's not who we are as women. It just isn't. And I think for black women, particularly for us, the way that we've been programmed and conditioned and educated in the society to expect less, to accept less, to be angry and to complain, but to not really step into our authentic self, our authentic power as women, and create what we want, even if that's create the demand. Oh no, not here, not today.
Ooh, IYANLA is dropping some wisdom. Wow. This is far the most, I would say, great exchange in terms of interview. I like that Ebony is allowing IYANLA to speak, and she's just processing and receiving it as IYANLA speaks. And I love that about this. But IYANLA stated something profound. Can create a demand. My thought process is that she's stating that we can create this kind of demand in a sense where we're operating more so from within our feminine energy, where we don't have to be combative, angry, upset, and all of that. As I stated before, as women, as females, some things we just need to unlearn and try to reshift our thinking to form a more feminine, open-minded type of energy kind of thinking. Extract more of our feminine nature so it would just automatically come out. It will just automatically show itself without it being forced, without it being manipulated. And this is something I never understood or knew, would never learned. So I love IYANLA for this. I rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. I started learning so much, and let me just continue with this video.
Okay, I hear you articulating, IYANLA, masculine energy traits, the competitiveness, the assertiveness. Tell me how you would frame feminine traits. Aggressive.
Grace. Aggressive. Yeah, aggressive, not assertive. It's okay for a woman to be assertive. Grace, first of all. I think we've lost our grace. We move in such a harsh and hard way. Grace.
Let me pause it right there. I never understood this. These are some gems, ladies and gents. These are some gems that sister, mother IYANLA, I hope she will receive this well if she ever hear me call her mother or sister or whatever. But these are some gems. She is speaking the truth. I never understood grace. Never. Until like now, of course, in my latter years. And let me continue, because to me, this resonates so much. It's like, oh my gosh, I got it. But I'm in my latter years now, so it's like, okay, I got it. And I would just continue to live out my life the way that it is. And hey, I might just have to buy a dog. But I can honestly say, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't, like, really, to the core. It doesn't bother me. I'm not in competition with trying to, I gotta get a man. I have to get this, or I have to get that, or, I'm operating at a different level.
Passion, nurturing, nourishing, elegance. How about majesty? How about divinity? How about holiness? This is not a language you hear coming out of most women's mouths, but they'll talk about being a boss, being a diva, being, in charge. And many of us are either not seated in our throne as queens, or we're in the throne and the crown is crooked.
Ooh.
Meaning we're in the throne and we don't really know how to hold that place without the masculine aggressiveness and demanding and attachment. And it's killing us. It really is.
So in a recent interview with our dear friends over at the Breakfast Club, that went very viral for very good reason, you said that women are being trained to be men in skirts. I will acknowledge, I will say I was triggered. I was a hit dog, and I hollered to the entire production team to get you here today.
I am so happy that Ebony admitted how she felt. And I concur. I'm admitting that later on in life. I concur. I totally concur. I was trained to be, I didn't understand my feminine energy. I didn't grace, none of that. Until my latter years. None of that. Let me continue.
Because I actually think you're right. I think you're right, Iyanla. I do think that I'll just speak for myself vulnerably. When I think of a masculine posture and what I would expect a man to do in my life, two things come top of mind, and they are provide and they are protect. And when my lived experience, and I think I'm still relatively young, I guess, but I'm 40 in September. So, I've
Pause. I didn't know Ebony was 40. I thought she was a little older than that. Wow, I'm older than her. She's still beautiful and intelligent, but I just thought she was a little bit older. I don't know, but go ahead.
had some relationships, and I've yet to find a man who has shown up, and this includes even my father, who was absent. I've yet to have a male energy that provided or protected me consistently ever. So I think that I have taken on the reins to protect and provide for myself, because what I'm not going to do, Iyanla, is be without. Baby, it's not happening.
Be without what?
So that
be
would
without what?
Be without protection, be without protection, and be without the necessities of life.
Okay.
But I say that with an invitation, Iyanla, check me. Show me the error of my ways. Tell me how I might be missing it, because I might be.
Okay. I too am an alpha woman. So I understand what that means. And I tell people all the time, I was a horrible mother. I was a great father. And I was a horrible mother because I'd never been mothered. So
Love her transparency. Yes, I can relate to a lot of this. Oh my goodness, oh gosh, women, can you relate? Drop a comment, like, share, subscribe to the mix, like, share, subscribe.
I didn't know how to affirm, how to nurture, how to nourish, how to
Pause. Same here. I didn't learn that. I didn't learn affirmations, none of that. Sorry, I didn't. And I say that I'm not to pile on to my mom or anything, but I'm just being transparent and real. Kids, I'm doing it different. I'm changing the trajectory. I'm changing, I'm breaking chains. My kids hear a lot of affirmations from me. All three of them. My youngest and I wasn't even really a hugger. I'm more of a hugger now, especially when it comes to my kids. I have to greet them and hug them, especially my young one. We just hug every day. I had to learn that.
I knew how to direct, how to demand, how to discipline, and like you said, provide and protect. Those are masculine energies. And the distinction here is men build, women create. So we know how to build. We know how to get to the external and get the work done and drive and push and do it. We don't know how to be still, create it, and allow it to come to us. And I learned that when I lost everything. I learned how to create because I had already built and it all crumbled. The house, the husband, the job, the contracts, the professional career in the world, stripped of it all the attachments, the necessities of life, the creature comforts, until I was stripped down to the bare bone. And then I had to learn how not to build. Build is external. Create is internal. And we as women have the power to create and attract anything we desire. But we don't get still. We won't shut up. And we manage everything through fear, control, and survival. As opposed to
pause, fear, control, and survival. Wow.
Feeling, knowing, and blooming or flourishing. Complete different thing. But since we've never been trained, we haven't been taught. So we do it the way we were taught to do it, which is very masculine in nature.
Okay, you guys. Oh my goodness. Whew. That was something for the books. Like, share, subscribe. What are your thoughts? Men, women? Let's get the conversation going. There's more I'm going to play as well. Again, an interesting exchange. What are your thoughts? With Iyanla. Again, Ebony is allowing her to have the floor as she should. And yeah. Let me play some more. I'm going to share the audio part. Here we go.
Now, is this why you are conducting a rites of passage program so that women, all of Black women in particular, can learn to create?
Women, so that we can learn our authentic power, that we can learn the distinction between a powerful woman and a woman in her power. There's a distinction, but there are skills and tools and practices and processes that we have to learn. At every age, the 20s have a process, the 30s have a process, the 40s have a 50, 60. We each have a process. And if you don't learn your 20 process, you're going to be doing it at 50. If you don't complete your 30 process, you're going to be doing it at 60. And that means you'll be running on overdrive instead of seated in your power. Yes. Woo. And the secrets are there. They come from our culture. They come from our history. But no one has taught us. So me, as a descendant of Africans and Native Americans, I have a very lovely blend and mix. And I just, for a long time, I didn't do it because women in general, they don't want to hear. They think their way is right. And I'm crazy when I say sit down, shut up, and listen. And you can create what you want. They don't want to hear that.
Iyanla did not come to play. I just adore and receive, and I am processing what she is saying. And I encourage and I employ women, ladies, get it, try it. Now, I'm not saying get it right because nothing is perfect or ever, but start in your high school years. If there's high school ladies listening, ladies in your 20s, Iyanla is right. Then you're in your latter years trying to reinvent, catch up, and you're all over the place. When you can capture that at the different stages of your life, that way, like she stated, when you reach a certain age, you're on your throne. You're on your throne, baby. You're on your throne. Oh my gosh. Like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. Men, what are your thoughts? How do you feel? Do you believe that too? Is there some type of defects that you notice in women who are at a certain stage or age in their life and they seem more controlling, more masculine, more dominating? How do you receive that? Are you attracted to that? What are your thoughts, man? Let's get the conversation going. I need to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with what Iyanla is stating about women and females? What are your experiences? What are your experiences with women who may be a little bit more dominant and a bit more aggressive? What are your thoughts? Drop a comment, like, share, subscribe to the mix, like, share, subscribe.
Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about it.
Okay.
Terminal degrees, those JDs, MD, PhDs. We also are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, along with Latina women in America. Pew Research said that women are now out-earning men in 22 of the largest cities in America, including where I live, New York, DC, LA, you name it. When we talk, and I know that you said that you cannot teach a man or tell a man how to be a man, so I will not ask you to indict men in this question. But I do want you to speak, Iyanla, to how women need to, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes, they're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Okay, let me pause it right there. This is part of the clip I posted in my last video on this topic, and again, it's giving competitiveness from Ebony, and I'm just not feeling that. I'm not at all. I do not believe men and women should be competing against one another. We should be supporting, building, and creating together. I do believe that in a healthy manner, of course, as healthy as possible, unproblematic as possible. Again, nothing is ever perfect, but however, Ebony is just giving competitiveness. Is like, yeah, sign her up quickly for that camp, Iyanla, for that women's rite of passage. I'm going to Google it myself to see, even if I don't experience whatever love or grand relationship later on in life or whatever. Let me go ahead and finish playing this clip. Like, share, subscribe to the mix. Like, share, subscribe. Drop a comment. Ladies, gents, ladies, what are your thoughts on this topic? What do you think? What do you think? Masculine women, modern women that are masculine. Iyanla breaking it down to Ebony.
Society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I could build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver. So I think some of the criteria that we look for in the reality of today keeps us unhappy, keeps us angry, keeps us imbalanced. And then when the men show up, we want to beat them up because they're not living up to our standards and criteria. And it's not working, beloved. It's just not working. So it's not that it's bad or wrong. It's obsolete. It's obsolete. We have to come up with a new way of being. I don't believe in carrying a man. A man has to do for himself. My son got his first job when he was 9, okay? Because you're a black man, you will know how to take care of yourself. But I think the way we measure it, it's just obsolete.
I think that's a factual analysis. For whatever we want, expect, we're told we were going to get, we got to look at the numbers and what's available on the marketplace. So you're certainly not wrong in the analysis. And Yana, let's tell the truth and shame the devil. We know what you got in that prenup would never be little. It'll never be small. That's a big old mound of assets. But that's okay. Let's spend a little more time just so we're really clear in this conversation, Dr. Van Zandt, difference between masculine energy and feminine energy, because I know that is not necessarily gender assigned, right? This is bigger than that. This is bigger than genitalia, right?
Right, absolutely. When we talk about man is mind, woman is heart. And so many of us have guarded, broken, closeted hearts that we do everything from here. And here, you know, as a woman that's been educated, that, like you said, has a degree, here will run out. Here will lie to you. This will never lie to you. But we've been taught not to trust this. We've been taught not to trust our knowing, our intuition. But a man can have a good idea and be brilliant, you know? So we want to have good ideas. But for us, our power is in knowing. And it's in getting that intuition and moving on it. That our power is in what we feel, not necessarily emotion, but what we feel in our body. But so many of us are out of touch with our body. We'll give our body to somebody else before we really get in touch with it ourselves, because we're so busy doing till we don't know how to be. When I talk about feminine energy, again, I'm talking about the grace, the compassion, the humanity. I'm talking about mercy. I'm talking about silence, stillness. I'm talking about flow and movement. I'm talking about speaking from a place of intuitive knowing, love. I'm not, and that's not the masculine way. The masculine way is justice, structure, power, is control. That's masculine. Feminine is dominion, not control. But most of us, many of us, I'm in recovery, are control freaks. So it's a whole nother way, a whole nother vibe. She raises her hand. There's a whole nother vibe that we can tap into, that we have to tap into, because the world is dying. This society, this system is coming down. And if we don't step into our power as women, we're going down with it. With the fall of the materialism and the collapse of the systems and the structures. We gotta, how many women do you know with degrees could live outside and survive for 3 days? On the earth. How many do you know? I know I can. I know what to eat. I know where to find water. And I'm not saying we got to go back to the rustic times of the wild, wild west. But I'm saying being in contact and in touch with the earth in a way that empowers us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Take the pants off. Take the pants off. Let your hoo-ha get some air.
Okay. That's pretty much it, everyone. You can go over to the Griot and see or watch. You can listen to the entire clip, the entire interview. It wasn't that long, but it was definitely interesting, a great exchange. I like how IYANLA just stated women becoming more in tune with Mother Earth, with the earth. Can we go out and plant something, a garden? Do we know how to get water and just the basic survival things, just in case? And Kevin Samuels used to speak about this a lot, just in case that Thanos, I think he said, that snaps and things just, we lose electricity, we lose our cell phones. How many of us will be prepared to go into survival mode, especially if you're a single mother or just single period and don't have a male in your life? Are you able to kind of fill in the gaps in that sense, in that area? Do you know how to plant? Do you know how to you have the rainwater and this type of, things that nature? Just go to some of Kevin Samuels' videos. They're still up everywhere on YouTube and just going viral. His spirit lives on. And again, this was a great interview. although I don't agree with Ebony all the time. But I do believe she's intelligent, beautiful. Ayala, of course, as well. We have Mother Ayala. The wisdom is just so phenomenal. Is so amazing. Her wisdom, her strength, her transparency. You're getting the raw, the real her. I love the examples that she uses when it comes to that she referenced, and when it comes to her kids, and how she said she was a horrible mother because she operated more like a father than a mother, and a lot of us do too. I've always maintained that a woman cannot raise a male. I stand behind that 10 toes down, and I am a boy mom. I can't raise them totally to be men. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I just can pray that God fills in the gaps in areas that I just can't foster, or I don't know how to navigate and lead and guide in that area, because I don't have the makeup of a man. I don't have the DNA of a man. I don't have the cells of a man, those chromosomes or whatever you want to call it. And we are definitely wired differently. Men are wired a certain way, women are wired a certain way. So when I speak or communicate with my boys, when we have conversations, things of that nature, sometimes I have to take my emotions. Even speaking with my older son, some things he want to talk about, and he'll try to have a conversation with me, and he's just like, man, Ma, I wish you speaking from a female perspective, I think. And honestly, I do get emotional or my translation, it seems like it get lost in the shuffle, and he does need to speak with his dad about certain things, so or a male figure about a lot of, especially when it comes to relationship and operating in relationships from a male perspective. I only could share my experience from a female perspective, but it's a way how you handle things from a male perspective. The only thing I can say to my kids, my boys, my boys, my babies, is don't allow anyone to cheat you out of your livelihood. Don't allow anyone to watch you crash out. And I'm picking up this from other men. So I kind of try to pick up things from men and incorporate when I'm talking to them for connection purposes. But, don't allow anyone to trick you out of your life. So those are like certain little things that I may conversate with my kids about, and of course expand on the conversation. But drop a comment. What are your thoughts on this conversation, this interview Ebony K. Williams and Ayala had? It was a great exchange. I call it a great exchange, great conversation. And I learned some things, and I'm going to possibly Google the rite of passage, and maybe I can probably help some other female, basically off of my experience, meaning be that blueprint of what not to do, or maybe perhaps you want to navigate differently. Not to say that I know everything or know it all, but I like to learn from other people's experiences, and I try to encourage my kids too. And it's levels to this. Learn from my experience. Learn from those around you. I fucked up so you can glow up. So, do I share every single thing with them? Absolutely not. There's levels to this. So, but nevertheless, I may reference certain things, or I may generalize certain things with my kids to say, hey, it's just being open and transparent with them in certain conversations, and like, hey, I experienced something similar to this and it didn't go well, or how about you navigate this a little bit differently, and hey, I want the best for you. I want the good for you. I don't want to see you down this road. So let me share with you what happened in this situation, this incident with me. And again, I may not go into super details, but I'll acknowledge like, hey, I screwed up in that area. Oops. Or hey, your dad, I even share their experience. Hey, maybe you want to Communication is key. Communication is definitely key to trying to raise strong black men. Like, share, subscribe to the mix. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think in terms of the conversation that was had with Ebony and Iyanla? Do you believe that women are outpacing men in so many different areas? Do you believe that women should adjust their standards, and checking off the box or meeting certain standards could possibly some women buying a dog, in my Kevin Samuels voice, buy a dog? And do you believe that women of a certain status, when they have it all, should adjust? In my opinion, yes. I've adjusted with a few people after marriage, even before marriage. Oh my gosh. But I've adjusted. It's nothing wrong with adjusting. It's nothing wrong with adjusting. So I don't see why not. It's not like you're settling, but sometimes it's pros and cons to everything. Nobody is perfect. Like, share, subscribe to the mix. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for tuning in. Share this video, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.